All right. This one is concerning gauges and testing. And by the way, I'm not staging these videos. I was going through the supplement, and again, where I told you there was change from 2018 to 21, and I spotted a change. I fire up the video, and I just go in hot. I'm not we're not making a movie here. My goal is not to be some expert video person. I suck at making videos. So here we go. Um, is 15.6, and they're talking about the gauges you use. Interesting, they're talking about water supply, but I'm trying to figure out why they would do this. So here we go. 2018, you have 15.6, you got A, B, C, your exception, and you got D. Here we go. The 2021 code, you got A, B, C is a change, D, and that is an E. So I can understand flushing and disinfecting. Yeah, we're talking about domestic water, saying here, water supply testing. And according to this, analog mechanical for testing shall have a pressure not more than 3 times the pressure of the system. Okay, so they don't want a big gauge. That's what it sounds like. Why, I don't know. That's not in the old code. I mean, it would seem to me that if you can read the gauge, you can read the gauge. What difference? The range of the gauge. If the gauge is good, right? Why would you have to say that? I don't know. Is this a thing like I said, as a moving towards international? It could be IMPO just adding sections to code to change it to definitely change from the national standard to say now that we're international. I saw something somewhere else about IMPO, but just mentioning to see what you all think. So there you go. They're basically saying put a gauge on it that you can read. Now I know there's a difference between a 30 and a 100. I mean, this is my pressure gauge I made for DWV. So on this manifold, when I'm done, I'm going to fill it up to the roof with water. And right there, you'll see my test ball is ready. And right after it, you'll see the test tee. So that test ball will go in that test tee. And then I'll take this gauge and I'll put it in the clean out. And from down here, I'll fill the system to the roof. And I can almost tell within, reason when the water is at the roof. So I don't have to run up and down the stairs if I don't have someone here with me, which I probably will when I do the test. And I've done it where I put a bucket or a container for the overflow on the third floor. And by watching this gauge, I could tell when the water's up there. So that's 100, but it doesn't have to be 100. Hell, I only need roughly about 6 pounds per level, per whatever. So it just happens that that's the gauge I had handy when I made this device. And I believe this is not JB Weld. I forgot what I used to epoxy it. I drilled it, put this thing in there, yada, yada, made that. And this is still the original gauge. I tested the gauge last week against another new one, and it's still accurate. So again, back to this here. I don't know. Sounds like they're saying we can't see a gauge with a lot of increment. So a lot of we want a lower gauge so we can see it. That's what it says to me. You tell me what you think and why they added this. See ya.